Welcome to the Empower Your Voice podcast. This is the last episode of season 6. As you can tell, I'm not in my studio. I am in Moab, Utah, and I am on the first day of the Empowered Voices World Tour. So went from Albuquerque, headed to north of Salt Lake City, and Moab was a stop where I could make this recording, record the last video and audio for the Empower Your Voice podcast for season 6. Thank you for being here with me today. I want to tell you a little bit about the tour, and we need to wrap up the season. This has been, what a season. It has taken me from confusion, really wanting to know the answers to these questions, just seriously not getting it. Like, what is it that stops us from sharing our voices? What is it that causes performance anxiety or causes us to not say what we mean? I mean, yeah, fear, but how do we get rid of that? And through interviewing the experts of season 6, really gotten to the bottom of that, so that if you've been listening all along, you too have a deep understanding of what it is that causes people to not use their voices authentically. So I can't wait to talk a little bit about that with you today as we wrap up the season. Tell you a little bit first about the Empowered Voices Tour. So the Empowered Voices World Tour started on Saturday, the 27th of May in Albuquerque, where I got to do the launch. And the launch was so cool. It was a part workshop, part celebration, and I cannot wait for all of you to experience it. I'll be getting that video up on the empowered-voices.com website. That's empowered-voices.com. Also on that website, you can follow me. You can follow my track on this 3-month tour, which goes from Albuquerque to Seattle, San Diego, Las Vegas, and then over to South Africa and Europe, and who knows after that. The Empowered Voices Tour, the mission of the tour is to touch 1 million people's lives, to empower their voices, because what would it be like if we each had an empowered voice? What would it be like if none of us hid or felt cowed or powerless? What would it be like if every person, regardless of skin color, gender, and where they live in the world, had an equal power to their voice? What difference would it make in our world, our environment, our financial situation, wars? Would we have wars if every voice was empowered? If nobody felt like they had to keep quiet for fear? And that empowerment that I hope for all people also goes into relationships. What would it be like in your life if there was no one who had power over your voice? What would it be like in your life if the people that you love respected your voice just as much as theirs? Maybe you have that already. If you do, way to go. That's very, very cool. Most of us don't. Most of us have someone in our life that we are afraid to speak truth to or to be ourselves. But you know what? There is only one person in this world that can represent you and your authentic self. You know what I'm going to say. You have to do you. Nobody else is going to take care of you, make sure that your voice is heard. Your mother probably did when you were little, but not anymore. It is time for you to own your authentic story and truth. What would happen in your life if you could say everything that you wanted to say? I mean, of course, you want to be thoughtful and respectful and loving, because that's probably part of your authentic voice. But to feel no fear of judgment or repercussion. That goes for singers too. Stage fright. Anyone who's taken the stage and they're worried about what the audience thinks of them, I'm talking to you. Empower your voice so that you can make the difference in the world. Everybody who's wanted to write a book, but they're not sure if people are going to like it, I'm talking to you. Empower your voice. Anybody who's wanted to wear an wacky outfit on the street because it's authentic to them. I think of my friend Tracy Jeske, who wears pink tulle all the time, and she is empowered and confident in that, and people love her for it. An empowered voice is the only thing that can make this world a better place. This world can only reach its full potential if everyone's voice is empowered to be heard at the right time, the right place, without fear of repercussion and judgment. For each of us, it's a matter of self-respect. I know, and I would like you to know, that we were each put on this planet for a purpose. And even if you don't believe that, even if you believe there is no purpose, it's just what it is, pick a purpose, because it makes life so much more awesome when you are driven to make change, when you are driven to do something different, to really live your best possible life. If you can be whole and complete in your purpose, that's when that old adage that it's not work, I don't remember the old adage, you can probably come up with it faster than I am, but you know the point. It never feels like a day of work if you're doing what you love. If your voice is empowered, you're doing what's most important to you, what really feeds your soul. I want you to be as empowered as everyone else in your life. And that is self-respect. If you respect yourself, you will do this. You will stand up and say what's truth. Now, it will change your life. And that is what I'm looking for the Empowered Voices Tour. I am looking for people who have empowered their voices and changed things for the better, perhaps upsetting their own life, perhaps upsetting the people around them who were stealing their power because they claimed their power and they are living it with everything they've got. That's the Empowered Voices Tour. The mission is to find those empowered people and talk to them, touching 1 million people's lives along the way through social media. I'm going to be on LinkedIn a little bit, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Nancy E. Boss is the way to find me on all those. Nancy, Nancy, and then BOS, Boss. If you go to the Empowered-Voices website, you're going to find links to everything. And you can count on it. It's going to touch you. The stories that I gather along the way, they're going to change your life and the people that you share this with. So I hope you do indeed share it. Now, I do want to acknowledge this is the end of May, and we just lost an amazing empowered woman from the world named Tina Turner. And I have to share, she had a huge impact on my life and my empowerment. Indirectly. I didn't know Tina Turner. I was a little girl in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, one among 100,000 other white people. And somehow Tina Turner got to me in Sioux Falls, South Dakota in the 1970s. And how she got to me was that when it came out that her ex-husband, Ike, was abusing her, my parents were appalled. They felt so bad about that. And that was my first exposure to domestic abuse. And she was my first example of how a woman can handle domestic abuse, because by the time I was really paying attention 10 years later, she was rising to the top. She was a middle-aged woman in Thunderdome, being sexy as can be on the stage, awesome, owning who she was. And she was my role model for how middle age is done. Tina Turner showed me an empowered woman for my entire life. And I'm so grateful to her. I'm so grateful to her and the legacy that she has left in her wake of empowered women. I am blessed and fortunate in this life to have learned this message of empowerment for myself. And it is my great opportunity to help you and everyone else understand it too. This is a movement. This is a movement of hearing everyone's perspective and respecting it. Respect your own first. Respect your own purpose and message first. You are first. You are the only one who can do you first. And then listen. Listen to how your voice blends in with the chorus of all humanity. This is an awesome existence. We only get one. Don't waste it. Live into your voice. It is known that the top 5 things that people in nursing homes will talk about that they wish were different in their lives. The third, most common, is they wish they had spoken up and said their truth. Don't let that be your regret. Empower your voice. Now you may be saying, how? How do I empower my voice? From what I've seen, there are 2 reasons why people do not have empowered voices. One is the stories that they hear in their head, the voices in their head. And I will tell you that even though I have overcome the vast majority of those negative stories in my head, every once in a while my brain sabotages me. It throws me something completely weird, made up to try to put me in my place, to try to keep me down. I don't want to claim that I know the source of those negative stories that still pop into my head occasionally, like twice a year, usually in a dream. I can say that if I give them a little bit of logical thought, I can realize that they are not true. They simply can't be true. So yes, we do have those voices in our head that perhaps will always try to protect us from taking risk and try to keep us from facing our fears, keep us in fear. But there are voices that come from our nuclear family, how we were raised, the people around us in our small community as children, in the bigger community that we were raised in, the culture of the times, and the traditions from our ancestors. These all put stories in our head about how we're supposed to live through in this world. And most of them are good. Most of us do fine with those stories. They work for us. But there's going to be some stories that keep you in your place, that put you down, that tell you do not be too big for your britches. Those stories are the ones that you need to face and look at and decide, are they real? Do they belong? Do they belong to the me that there is now? I'm willing to bet that they don't. I'm willing to bet that those are stories that take away your power. The other source of an unempowered voice, I believe, is when the message between the head and the heart doesn't match. And this gets into chakra systems where the 5th chakra, the throat, acts as a gatekeeper between the head and the heart. If your head says, yes, 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 and your heart's going, I don't know, it's going to stop your voice. The voice is the gatekeeper that clamps down and makes it not happen. On the other hand, if your brain is like, this makes no sense, I shouldn't do this, this is risking too much, and your heart's like, oh, but this is what I want to do. That's where I found myself. For the longest time, my throat was closed, literally and figuratively. Now I'm happy to say that they work together. I am in harmony, head, heart, and gut. My throat is wide open, and that's what I would wish for you. Keep up with the Empowered Voices website. You'll find a course that I'm putting that'll be available. You'll find it on empowered-voices.com. And then you can do this work for yourself. You can find a therapist, a coach, a hypnotherapist who can work through this with you. Listen back to some of these episodes in season 6. Listen to all of them, and you'll get the transformation that I got. It's pretty awesome. Thank you for being here with me. This podcast is now going to be on a long break while I'm on the world tour. I will, however, be posting videos regularly, especially on YouTube. So look for me on YouTube, Nancy E. Boss. Thank you for joining me. Please reach out. The email address, info@studioboss.com, will get to me. I am looking for opportunities to speak everywhere on my tour, either with individuals or with meetup groups or with big conferences. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you have a wonderful, empowered voice from here on out. Bye-bye.